Okay, so we're going to look at pro-life and pro-choice arguments within Christianity, but also this covers anything in Islam as long as you can link it to the quote. You can demonstrate how this could be a pro-life or pro-choice argument. So, let's start with pro-life arguments. 10 Commandments. So let's go through our GOAT. So GOA, no, they're pro-choice. But T, thou shalt not kill. There you go. GOAT. So therefore abortion seems to be wrong. M, materialism, because if someone is choosing to have an abortion for materialistic purposes, such as a career, that would be seen to be a sin, because you're worshipping your material values over the moral ideal, the God-given gift of birth. P, playing God, because you're playing God. It's He, Allah, chooses life and death, or consider the works of God. How can He make straight who can make straight what God has made crooked, from Ecclesiastes? All those ideas are saying that you're playing God. You've had a crooked situation where you're having a child. Doesn't matter. You've got a life inside you. You're responsible for it now. Don't play God. Absolute morality would say that it is wrong to have an abortion. It's always wrong. Abortion's always wrong. Sanctity of life would say that it's wrong to have an abortion. Life is sacred. Sanctity of the body, my body is a temple, so as a result I have something holy within me, so I shouldn't be committing an abortion. It's part of my body and it's holy. Slippery slope. If we start to allow abortions, then things will get worse and worse and worse, where people will have more and more abortions for the most ridiculous reasons, like, oh, I don't feel like it right now, or anything along those lines. So keep it strict. Deterrence. Not having abortions as legal is a deterrence, discouraging people from having sex without protection, and also so you could say that making abortions illegal is a good deterrence for people having abortions. Unfortunately, however, that argument is wiped by the fact that actually in the past abortions are legal. Where abortions are made illegal, people are still having abortions. So, So those are the pro-life arguments. Basically, sanctity of life is your key argument, and we've got our classic sanctity of life quotes, but we've also got consider the works of the playing God quotes. Consider the works of God, who can make straight what God's made crooked. It's He, Allah, who can take life and death. So that's your Christian and Muslim quotes. Ecclesiastes and the Surah, and then alongside that you've got you knit me together in my mother's womb. You knit me together in my mother's womb. You knew my unformed body, it says in Psalms. You knew my unformed body, so before it was as an embryo, you still knew it. Alongside that, sanctity of life quotes, have got days allotted to me. Now, if you want, just keep using those quotes, but these are ones that you might want to use or might find easier to remember. It's up to you. Days allotted to me were all recorded, any of them that have ever been. So God decides when we're born, and God decides when we die. He has a plan for us. You put me together in my mother's womb. We've said this one already. Have many children. Yeah, so that duty to have many children is also a reason not to have an abortion. Or a reason not to have an abortion, because you have a duty to have a child. You're pregnant, have that child. God created man in His own image. So if God's created you in your image, then that image within the embryo image that God has created is sacred, and you shouldn't be killing it or destroying it or terminating that pregnancy. And as we said, your body is a temple, from sanctity of the body. So those are the pro-life arguments. Now, pro-choice, we can use quite a few. Golden rule: treat other people like you wish to be treated. So if I if I was in a situation where I'd been raped, would I want to be able to have an abortion? Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't want to have a child that's born without dignity. So that could be a golden rule argument. If you have different perspectives on that issue, then that's fine. Sin by mission. Whoever knows what is right and does not do it, to him it's a sin. So if you know it's right for you to have that abortion at that time because you are unable to take care of that child, then aborting that fetus, and aborting that fetus is the right thing to do, and you choose not to abort that fetus, you are doing sin by mission. You are omitting to do the right thing. That's a complex but a clever little argument that you can use there. Agape love. Do the most loving action. If it's not a life, then the most loving thing to do might be to actually have that abortion. If you're creating a legal society, whether abortion should be legal or not, be pro-choice. Give women the empowerment, the right to have an abortion. Let them have the equal rights to men of controlling who they are and aren't the father of. So those are your pro-choice arguments. Also, in a non-literalist perspective, you can go Psalms. Okay, you knit me together in my mother's womb. Well, that's a poem. That's not meant to be taken literally as that's when love starts. So that's another useful argument that you could use there as well. Something I didn't mention before, pro-life, you can also use determinism. God has determined you to have this child. So that would be another pro-life argument. Other ones, I'm just trying to think through. Oh, freedom, of course, yeah. So is it for freedom that Christ has made you free? So as a result, people should have the freedom of choice over whether they have an abortion or not. So people should be free to make their own decisions. And forgiveness is particularly key. Always, always key regarding any ethical issue. Even if people have abortions, people should be able to find it in their hearts to forgive that person. Within Christianity, that would be saying, forgive us the trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. So that's an idea that would say, we've all sinned, so we should be able to forgive someone who has committed an abortion, whether I'm pro-life or pro-choice. And also for forgiveness in Islam, you've got the Bismillah, Allah is compassionate and merciful. And also you've got within Islam, forgive, don't you want Allah to forgive you? So those are useful quotes or useful arguments for pro-choice or pro-life. That's our use of the acronyms mostly there.